Have you ever wondered why some lakes and rivers are choked with algae, creating vast dead zones where fish can't survive? It's a complex problem, but at its heart lies a simple everyday product: fertilizer. We rely on it to feed the world, but its overuse is creating a global crisis with devastating consequences. Today, we'll explore the hidden costs of our reliance on synthetic fertilizers, and I'll share how this pollution not only damages our ecosystems, but also threatens human health and social stability. We'll uncover the science behind this crisis, examine the agricultural practices that contribute to it, and discuss potential solutions. But first, let's look at the sheer scale of the problem. The primary culprit in this environmental disaster is nutrient runoff, specifically nitrogen and phosphorus, from fertilizers. When these nutrients enter waterways, they trigger a process called eutrophication. Imagine a lake suddenly receiving a massive dose of vitamins. Algae thrive, creating massive blooms that block sunlight and deplete oxygen. This leads to hypoxic or low oxygen conditions, creating what we call dead zones. The Gulf of Mexico's 6,334 square mile dead zone is a prime example, but how does this impact local communities? Well, it decimates fishing industries. Shrimp catches are down 40%, impacting the livelihoods of generations of coastal communities. Lake Okeechobee in Florida faces similar problems, with toxic cyanobacteria outbreaks. Now you might be thinking, that sounds bad, but how does this relate to the specific ratio of nitrogen to phosphorus? That's a great question. Natural freshwater systems maintain a delicate balance of nitrogen and phosphorus, usually below a 20-to-1 ratio, but fertilizer runoff can push this ratio to 50-to-1 or even higher. This imbalance favors toxin-producing cyanobacteria, creating a perfect storm for ecological damage. The Baltic Sea is a chilling example of this. Hypoxia has claimed 97% of its benthic habitat since 1950, but it's not just about the oceans. Freshwater ecosystems are also under siege. In Poland's Glazinka River, high nitrogen levels have caused a 62% reduction in macroinvertebrate diversity. And what about the impact on plant life? Phosphorus pollution is devastating submerged vegetation like eelgrass, which are vital nursery grounds for fish. The Chesapeake Bay has lost a staggering 90% of its seagrass beds since the 1930s. So, we've seen the ecological impacts, but what about the direct effects on humans? That's where things get even more concerning. One of the most alarming human health consequences is methemoglobinemia, or blue baby syndrome, caused by nitrate-contaminated groundwater. In some agricultural regions like Punjab, India, over half of the wells exceed safe nitrate limits. But even subtoxic levels of nitrates are linked to long-term health risks like cancer and thyroid disorders. We've even seen tragic cases of liver damage in dialysis patients exposed to contaminated water. And remember those algal blooms? They can produce toxins that are harmful to humans and animals, as tragically demonstrated by dog fatalities in Oregon. So what's driving this crisis? It boils down to inefficient agricultural practices. Globally, fertilizer use efficiency is shockingly low, only 33% for nitrogen and 18% for phosphorus. This means most of the fertilizer we apply ends up polluting our waterways. And the problem is compounded by soil erosion, which accelerates nutrient loss. But there's hope. Conservation tillage practices can significantly reduce these losses, but adoption rates remain low due to perceived yield risks. We also have the issue of legacy nutrients, the accumulation of excess nutrients in soils over decades of overuse. These reservoirs can continue to leach into waterways for generations, and climate change is making the situation worse, with increased rainfall and earlier spring thaws leading to more runoff. So, what can we do? We need a multi-pronged approach. Stronger regulations, like the EU's Nitrates Directive, can be effective. Market-based solutions like fertilizer taxes can also play a role. And crucially, we need a transition to more sustainable agricultural practices, like agroforestry and precision irrigation. The Doughnut economics framework provides a valuable lens for understanding this crisis. We've exceeded planetary boundaries for nitrogen and phosphorus, jeopardizing essential social foundations like clean water and food security. This isn't just an environmental problem, it's a social and economic one. We need a fundamental shift in our approach to agriculture, one that prioritizes sustainability and equity.